Welcome to the channel. This is the second part of Yuuki vs Guy CRIMPSON. Watch the first part to relate here. First part's link is in description, so go watch that before you watch this. Subscribe the channel for more light novel videos. So now let's start the video. If he were to convert all his energy into magicules, he could rival Leon and Luminos. Yet, Guy was not fazed by this either. How disappointing. Is that all you're capable of? You won't be able to win against me, even if we fought 1,000,000 times over, he said dismissively, nonchalant as always. Perhaps. In that case, I'll do my best to entertain you. Yuuki's proclamation kicked off the battle anew. A second later, Yuuki learned why Guy was regarded as the strongest demon lord. The scene was desperate. Yuuki was lying on the ground, physically outmatched. Against Guy's overwhelming strength, none of Yuuki's attacks worked. It was no use trying any more tricks. Not even his strongest, most polished attack could leave a scratch on Guy. Damn it all. Yuuki didn't have the strength to even get up again. The most he could do was curse at Guy. At this point his prevailing resilience was praiseworthy. Yuuki's primary way of defense, anti-skill, was no exception. It was unable to stop Guy's magic after a few hits. That won't work on me anymore, Guy taunted. It appeared that he had figured out how to counter anti-skill, somehow. That was a horrifying fact. Kozalime and Clayman had mentioned the 10 great demon lords in the past. They had emphasized that Guy and Milam were particularly strong, but this vast difference was unfathomable. Had they been aware of it sooner, they would never have agreed to the naive ambition of conquering the world. So this the power of a catastrophe class. Yuuki brushed back his bangs and put on a defiant smile, in spite of his circumstances. I didn't expect you to be so strong, clearly surpassing my calculations, Yuuki conceded. But I've seen through your plan. You weren't going to kill us after all, were you? Hey, what makes you think that? Guy sneered. If you had planned to do that, you would have obliterated us by now. With each attack, you only ever left me on the brink of death, never finishing me off. Why? The confidence in his voice was palpable. He was being incredibly reckless. How could Yuuki talk to Guy like that after seeing his immense strength? Nobody could understand Yuuki. Nobody except for Guy, who was rather intrigued. So you noticed, but you don't need to know the answer. Guy's response made it clear that he wouldn't reveal anything else. Yuuki shrugged. He had expected this answer, so he began to calmly execute his next plan. Then I want to make a deal with you. You want to make a deal? Yeah, if you let us go, we can be of help to you. Be of help to me? Indeed. It sounds like you don't want us to join the Eastern Empire, but I hope I could sway your mind otherwise. Keep going. Since our goal is to conquer the world, we will eventually become an enemy of the Empire. I have experienced the extent of your great power just now. Knowing it, I don't want to be your enemy. Because of that, destroying the Empire first would be much easier. Yuuki's explanation was just confusing nonsense to everyone else. Footman and Tyr were lost. Laplace was confused about the current situation, too. He was prepared to die for his plan, yet his only hope, Yuuki himself, threw a wrench into the whole thing. All that was left for him was to hope that Yuuki's negotiations went well. Even so, Yuuki's rash words made Laplace sweat profusely. This is way too reckless. The reasoning is absurd, but why does it seem like Guy is enjoying this? Indeed. As Yuuki said this, strangely, Guy cracked a smile. You still intend on challenging me? That's only natural. My ambition is to conquer the world, after all. Right now, I don't seem to stand a chance against you. But one day, I'll eventually surpass you. Yuuki could barely stand because of his wounds, yet he still talked big to Guy. Thoughts like, pissing off Guy would get me killed, didn't even cross Yuuki's mind while he was talking. But this was Guy he was talking to, so his attitude turned out to be the right call. Had he begun to pathetically plea for his life, Guy would have immediately lost interest, a surefire way to get them all killed. Unbeknownst to him, he had played all his cards right. So you're saying that it'll be good for me if you manage to take down the Empire? The conversation had reached its turning point. Yuuki had to execute his plan cautiously. He shifted his gaze back to Guy and nodded affirmatively, of course. I don't know the exact reason, but you don't seem to want the Empire to invade the West. Is that right? Guy must have some connection with the Emperor, Rudra. That was the key. Yuuki turned up the act. I have many enemies ahead of me to bring down, and I intend to join the Empire. However, I don't intend to be under its control. Instead, I will destroy it from within and turn it into a puppet of ours. I see. You will get help from the Empire while your goals still align, but they might not be the same afterward. You want to borrow the strength of the Empire to defeat Leon, and probably that Rimuru as well, right? Guy's sharp eyes seemed to have seen through it all as he stared at Yuuki. There was no turning back for him now. He didn't know what kind of relationship Guy had with Leon, nor what he thought of Rimuru. He couldn't even predict how Guy would react as he replied. Despite it all, Yuuki still decided to express his ambition deliberately. That's right. I want to dominate the world, and I will beat you in the end, Demon Lord Guy Crimson-san, Yuuki proclaimed with impudence. It was up to Guy to interpret this. Even if we followed Laplace's plan, I doubt a single one of us would have seen another day. Sorry guys, but please play along with my plan. Yuuki apologized to his companions in his heart. It was all or nothing for them, and Yuuki was very greedy. If he lived, he would get everyone else out alive as well. The bet was incredibly risky. However, Yuuki hit the jackpot. Are you guys seriously called the moderate clown troupe? Because you sure act like clowns. You've thrown the entire playing field into disarray, like some kind of joker card. Your proposal is very interesting. Considering how bold you've been, I've decided to let you all go peacefully. However, don't expect me to be merciful the next time we meet. In the end, there was no telling what Guy's goal was. Whatever it was, what mattered now was that Yuuki and his companions were saved. Rain and Misery couldn't object to Guy's decision. As soon as Guy said they could go, Yuuki and his companions fled on the spot. Thank you for watching. Subscribe for more of light novel content and stay tuned for more videos.